All right, going to call the regular meeting of council to order for Monday, April 15th. Take approval of the agenda. Councilor Norbury.
That the April 15th, 2024 regular council meeting agenda be adopted as presented.
Seconder, Councilor Julich. All in favor? Carried. Adoption of minutes for March 27th, 2024 budget meeting of council minutes. Recommendation, Councilor Dussault.
That the March 27th, 2024 budget meeting of council minutes be adopted as presented.
Seconder, Councilor Klickash. Any errors or omissions? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. April 2nd, 2024 regular meeting of council minutes. Recommendation, Councilor Noxana.
That the April 2nd, 2024 regular meeting of council minutes be adopted as presented.
Seconder, Councilor Julich. Any errors or omissions? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. April 4th, 2024 budget meeting of council minutes. Recommendation. Councilor Norbury.
That the April 4th, 2024 budget meeting of council minutes be adopted as presented.
Seconder, Councilor Dussault. Any errors or omissions? Call the question. All in favor? Motion's carried. April 8th, 2024 special meeting of council minutes. Recommendation, Councilor Noxana.
That the April 8th, 2024 special meeting of council minutes be adopted as presented.
Seconder, Councilor Klickash. Any errors or omissions? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Any business arising from the minutes, council? Councilor Hoffman.
Thank you, Mayor. Apologize if this doesn't fit in here, but and I'm not sure how much leeway I have. After our April 8th session, I had some conversations which led to other conversations and led to other conversations, and I'm okay with disappointment, and what I'm really not okay with is the consensus, not that broad. There seems to be a common thread of a feeling of disrespect was used as or terms of respect and other not so nice terms about how they feel they're being treated. I have a feeling that our volunteers in these boards are feeling that council is not hearing, not respecting, not really engaging with them. And given that we've had several conversations about our concern with how our volunteers are feeling, I was hoping to revisit, discuss, and consider how we approach some of these requests going forward. Specifically, when we make changes, especially without consultation, it basically, or some of them at least, feel that we're not respecting the fact that these are volunteers putting in hours of work and have come to these conclusions for these bodies that they're advocating for, yes, but there's no payment for them. They're doing it because they believe in it, and I think there's something to that. I think I reflected for myself what I was doing, and that's basically what I came up with, is that instead of changing without consultation, I think we should try to take these applications at face value, say yes or no, and if we want something else or something more, then we request that. And that's just it. That's our role. We say yes or no to these financial outputs. But I think the fact that we're changing them, a lot of people are feeling that the time that they spent on putting these is not being respected. And I think there is something to that. So I don't know if that's appropriate here, so I apologize if it's not. But I would like to undo my instance of voting for something that I don't think I should have, and I don't know if that's possible. So coming from this, it's specifically 3.4, April 8th, 2020 special meeting of council minutes. Our final motion is where I feel I made my mistake, and I was hoping we could discuss and do that.
Yeah, so I guess just back to you, Councillor Hoffman, are you just looking at having your vote changed?
That's one possibility, but I wanted to, well, basically say what I said, and I don't know how council feels about it. I know we've had the discussions before of volunteerism declining, and I think this is part of the reason why, is kind of how we approached this that day isn't making, in general, I mean, this is one, I know, this is one board, but it wasn't the only board or it wasn't the only volunteer group that I spoke to over the last few days, and I know I could change the vote. I know it doesn't make any difference. I wouldn't mind doing that, but if we can address what I brought up, hear from the rest of council and go from there, that would be perfect. But I don't know if that's allowed, so.
Yeah. I guess my comment would be, I mean, I guess when we have budget meetings and you know, listening, information coming back from staff and, you know, understanding it's volunteer organizations or that bring it forward in regards to a budget or a fee for service, whether it's fee for service or grant and aid, it is then up to council to debate those and figure out what the council can afford this year. And I think with council putting the last motion on the agenda or on that meeting night, you know, it talks about, we understood that the youth center, in my thoughts, is the youth center came down to a crunch because of the, you know, they saved in the previous years. They figured they were going to be stuck coming at the end of 2023, which they did mention in their delegation in August. They asked for pre-approval in an earlier meeting, and because we didn't have their financials, we held off to the budget meeting, and then finding out in the budget meeting that, again, I've already apologized, it's in those minutes, you know, we did receive their financials, but it was missed not added to our agenda, so I've already apologized for that part of it. So with council, to me, putting this motion forward is obviously, we wanted to get the funds to the youth center so they could get back into opening and operational, but then having it, and it just states there that it determines that they could increase the number of youth served and how much it would cost, and that the 2024 funding be pre-approved. So I think what council is sending it back to that organization, whether it's a volunteer group or not, to see what they can do for the next 2 years. Now, if you're just looking for general comments from council and what they think in regards to the way we handle the grant needs or fee for services, I don't believe, not that I can speak for individuals, but I believe us as a whole care very wholly on our volunteers. We support them, we try our best. In the same aspect, we have to also look at budgets to be able to answer to the taxpayers as well. And they're obviously taxpayers as well. So I think that's what the whole overall discussion is. I don't feel this council at any point disrespects volunteers in any way. We're looking at the organization from the district side and what we can afford in their budgets. Now, if you're looking for comments from council, I'm fine opening that up, if that's what you're looking for.
I think that's absolutely a reasonable start. If I'm the only one, then there's nothing to discuss.
Councilor Noberry?
Thank you, Mayor Kakalka. You know, all due respects to Councillor Hoffman, I don't think it is a worthwhile exercise to rehash arguments or debates after the fact. You know, mechanically, if we're looking at revisiting a decision that was made, a person from the winning side could bring that back, but that would just be for that one amended motion. But to be honest, and I apologize, I don't mean to be rude, but I think it's disrespectful to ask councillors to rehash an argument that they've already had, because it's already been said. So that's my 2 comments. We've already had the debate. We have to accept that what happened. I was on the opposing side as well, so.
Thank you. Councillor Julich?
I understand your desire to make sure that that our organizations feel respected, and in my experience, there's never a perfect situation, which I know you're aware of as well. And so my hope is that if a community member feels disrespected by me, that they'll come and talk to me, and then I can deal with that outside of this forum. So I'm also on the same page as Councillor Norbury. I don't think that this is the appropriate thing. I think everybody in those organizations have every opportunity to reach out to us individually.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else, Councillor Hoffman?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much for your input. Okay, moving on to delegations. Allen Ziegeman, I hope I pronounced that right. Resident, Allen Ziegeman, resident of Tumbler Ridge, to request special parking permission and grocery delivery for disabled senior population. Alan, please feel free to come up. At this time, I apologize, Alan, but I am going to declare a conflict just because of the delegation talking about grocery delivery. As I own the grocery store in Tumbler Ridge, I believe I am in conflict if this was to be supported. Yeah. Councillor Desault.
Hi, sir. The floor is yours.
Yes, I'm here. Here tonight
Hang on.
to ask permission to get a bylaw changed with the city to have disabled parking for us seniors and disabled people at the corner of Cottonwood and Spruce, which is behind, or it's a little cul-de-sac in there. And a lot of us seniors use that to park at. And of course, everybody else does too. So I was wanting one spot designated for disabled parking at that location, if possible. And the groceries and that, I understand now. I didn't know at the time, but there is still a lot of discussion with that. And that's about it.
Thank you, Mr. Ziegeman. Before I open it up to councillors for any questions or comments, actually, I'll just go there. Councillor Norbury?
Thank you, Acting Chair Deso. Thank you for coming in, Alan. I appreciate your concerns. I had a couple questions for you in regards to some grocery delivery and pharmacy delivery. Do you know of any other groups in town that offer that service? And is there a barrier there for you? So what I'm trying to get at is that I know that Fresh Mart does offer some delivery. I know the taxi does it as well. I'm just kind of curious if there's a barrier there for you. Have you utilized them before? Just curious your thoughts there.
No, I haven't. I wasn't aware. I was aware that the Lions Club had the Meals on Wheels for a while. Now, whether that's still available, I wasn't
Yes, it is.
sure. And that was the only one that I was aware of that was you could use here in town. And the big thing was that there's quite a few seniors in our building now, and we were more concerned about the disabled parking than anything else for us to use for, it's in a cul-de-sac back there. It's not a 90-degree corner. And there's room for numerous residents to park there from April 30th, I believe, to October 1st or the 30th. And then it's no parking there because of snow removal and street cleaning. That I understand. Not asking for permission to park there during that time, but to have a spot for us disabled people to park that regular people don't use.
Follow up?
Thank you. Yeah. I ride by there on my bike all the time when I'm not in crutches. So I definitely see that cul-de-sac being utilized. And for a while there was like a camper that was kind of sitting out there for quite a while. So it's definitely being utilized as a parking area for people. To your knowledge, has this ever been brought up with the ownership of that building? Do you think there's a way that we could I'm just spitballing here, trying to get creative, but do you think we could appropriate some land just to have some parking there? Because my concern is taking over roads for designated parking. I don't know if we do that anywhere, right? So my thoughts is to think of, well, what if we just cleared a spot there on that land to allow for some parking? It would kind of serve both purposes, right? Or if we could, has anybody talked to the strata about that?
No, I haven't talked to the strata yet.
Red is on, no.
Red is good, Alan.
Good?
There you go.
There, thank you. I haven't talked to the strata yet to whether this is possible. I can and will. They pushed the snow all the way from the all down the street and all the way over there during the no parking. I understand but during the summer, that spot could be used for parking. It's good ground, it's nice and level. Matter of fact, I parked there today because it's no parking on the street. Now, I understand that we're not supposed to park there even, but I've used it.
Any follow-up, Councillor Norbury?
Just to clarify, I believe that you can't keep your vehicle in the same spot for 24 hours. So, if you move it around, Chief, you didn't hear that, but that's the rules, I believe. 24 hours and you have to move it, but so it's a little bit of leeway.
Anything else?
No.
Nope. Councillor Julik?
So I guess I would just be wanting to ask staff if they can give us some more clarity on what rules are out there. I, of course, can't picture in my head the actual spot, but if I could get that, and then I'd have a follow-up.
Ms. Torville? Which one is it? Oh, there we go. Thank you, sorry.
Thank you, Council. I will defer to Chief Curry as he has the expertise on this subject matter.
Chief Curry. Got it.
Thank you, Ms. Torville, Acting Chair and Council. So the area that Mr. Ziegeman is talking about is the cul-de-sac right between, is the intersection rather, Spruce and Cottonwood. Very familiar with this area, and as he stated, the district does keep that area from April 30th until October 1st, I do believe, as a no parking area for our snow removal. Spruce is a notoriously already narrow street for our equipment and emergency vehicles to try and travel. So we keep that area, that bulb, clear of parking for those reasons, just for our own logistical needs. But as he does say that right now, it is not. So there's no, well, I should say after April 30th, the intention is that you can park there. It is just the same as any other on-street parking that we have in the municipality, with the exception that he's requesting that disabled parking be allocated in that area. And to my knowledge, we don't have any parking, on-street parking that's designated as such. All off-street parking, or on-street parking rather, is public use. So it doesn't matter who has a first come, first serve, whoever gets there the fastest. As Councillor Norbury did say, the current rules about parking is you can have it there for 24 hours until such time that you have to move it. We do encourage people not to be there forever, but at the same time, we understand that it is parking, and not all properties have sufficient parking for their needs.
Follow-up, Councillor Julik?
Yes, so because I've looked at it on Google, I wasn't playing on my phone other than to find out where it possibly was, and I'm still not quite there. Can you give me an explanation, like is it on the backside of an apartment building, that kind of thing? Like is that why you're looking for that space in particular?
Yes, it is. It's on the 320 North Gate, and then it's facing, the apartments are facing north. And the cul-de-sac is right in here, and I'm on the second floor right there looking that way. So it's as handy as heck for me, especially for packing water and groceries and everything else. And 9 times out of 10, either that or you double park to unload groceries. And, because it's used. Once April 30th comes around, yeah, like there's been motor homes and fifth wheels and everything else in there.
Okay. All right, I'm not sure what next steps would be if we wanted to pursue. Right. Right.
All right. Any other councillor? Questions? No? All right, well, thank you, Mr. Ziegeman, for coming in and presenting to us. And we'll get back to you on that. Absolutely, we will, yeah. Staff will reach out to you, yes. Okay, thank you very much. It is.
All right, moving on to 6.2, HD Mining International, Jody Shimkus and Norman Johnson to provide a construction update on the Murray River project to the District of Tumbler Ridge. Welcome.
Thank you. Where's the button? I good? Okay,
You're good to
there we
go.
go. I'm live. Sorry, I just need my glasses. Great. Thank you for having us here this evening. The HD Mining International wanted to provide an update on where we were with pre-construction and construction activities. We were here about a year ago to give you an update on what our plans are, and some of those have progressed. So the Murray River project is currently in care and maintenance and has been so for approximately 8 years now. We did receive our EAC certificate in October of 2015. In 2020, we applied for an extension to that EAC certificate, and we received that extension to October 1st, 2025. So we must begin substantial start of that project before October of 2025. In preparation for that substantial start, HD Mining has now completed all of the required management plans and submitted them to the Environmental Assessment Office. The Environmental Assessment Office, the BC Environmental Assessment Office, has to determine that they meet, they are to their satisfaction. We are waiting for that decision before we can commence construction. Our current target for the start of construction is May 15th. But that is subject to receiving the approval of those management plans from the BC Environmental Assessment Office. Once these plans are approved, construction will actively start at the site, and we are anticipating an approximately 5-year construction timeframe. I know that's longer than we had originally planned, but for a variety of reasons, including our desire to utilize a Canadian workforce and train the required underground miners, we have extended the time frame for construction. Key construction activities that will occur at the site once the management plans are approved include site rehabilitation, generator refurbishment, installation of a hoist at the decline portal, dewatering at the decline portal, advancement of the existing decline to the shaft bottom. All of those, the last three, the installation of the hoist, the dewatering, and the advancement are all underground activities, just for clarity. We would also begin site clearing and drainage works at the shaft site, which is located at the north site of our footprint, and site clearing and drainage works for the proposed coal preparation plant. Engineering for foundation work and at the north site ventilation shaft, and engineering for foundation work at the coal preparation plant. We expect that there'll be approximately 50 workers on site during the construction timeframe. So those are the key activities that we would be looking at as part of the construction at the site. Norm, is there anything that you wanted to add?
No, I guess we could tell them who the contractor is.
Yes. Oh, thank you. So as I mentioned, it's been very important for HD Mining to try and build a Canadian workforce. Fortunately or unfortunately, with the closure of Myra Falls, that has opened up an additional workforce that we did not have before. So we have contracted with Tyson Mining, that is based out of Saskatchewan, but has workers all over Canada, including quite a few in BC. And they will be our primary contractors for the underground mining component. So, did you want to speak to a bit of Tyson's expertise, Norm?
Well, we went with Tyson primarily because they have a lot of the underground workers from underground coal workers that were in BC before. Most of them worked at Quinsam Coal on Vancouver Island, and then when Quinsam Coal shut down, they went to Tyson and Myra Falls. So now that Myra Falls is shut down, we're able to draw from them. And that'll be the core group of guys coming in that know the work and can begin the training process and developing a workforce. So.
It's also why we've extended our construction timeframe, because we're dealing with a smaller workforce. We want to build greater capacity. So starting with that core and allowing us to build greater underground capacity extends the timeframe for our construction period. So one of the things that we were hoping to request of council, as part of the substantial start determination by the BC Environmental Assessment Office, we have to prepare a submission outlining the works that we've done and how we are actively in construction. That is called a substantial start decision, and we would be requesting support from the council for that substantial start submission. So we would be looking for a letter of support from the council to submit to the BC Environmental Assessment Office. So that is what we would request of council while we're here today. And with that, I open it up to any questions.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming in and giving us an update in regards to the HD Mining International. What is your deadline on the support letter?
We're hoping to submit in mid to late June to the BC Environmental Assessment Office.
Okay, thank you for that. Council Nobury.
Thank you, Mayor Kaka. Thank you for coming in. You know, I've been on, this is my second term on council, and definitely watching your progress with interest. I know I continually give updates to people in the community because they're curious about what's going on with HD Mining. Biggest thing is they're asking about what are those, you know, colored buildings down by the high school, and explain to them it's HD Mining. They're going to open up in 2025, and it's exciting. It's exciting. I did have a question. You keep the term substantial start is being used. Is there any measurables there, like for like volume or length of life? Can you define that more?
It is a highly subjective process that is not very clearly defined in the BC Environmental Assessment Office, but there is a series of court cases that have helped and a guidance document with the BC Environmental Assessment Office. Essentially, what they are looking for is that you have advanced all components of your certified project description, which is included in your EAC certificate. So in our case, we have 5 key components that are identified in our certified project system. So there's the underground mine, there's the shaft to the site, there's the CPP, there's the secondary shaft site, and then the second decline. So we will be able to show progression on 4 of the 5 because the secondary shaft site doesn't come into play until year 15 of operation. So of course we wouldn't. So we're trying to, we'll definitely be showing progress because we're going back into the decline and advancing that. We're installing key infrastructure in the form of the hoist. We're going to be doing clearing and preparation of the foundation at the north site for the ventilation shaft, and we'll be doing site clearing at the coal preparation plant. So we're confident that we can demonstrate that we are substantially started by both activities and expenditures, because expenditures alone are not a determination of substantial start. Excuse me.
Follow up.
A little bit of a different topic, but back to the housing that you have in town. I don't know if it was the last time HD was in attendance or if it was the previous, but I did ask if there was opportunity for us to temporarily use some of that housing to house professionals in our community. You know, people like teachers, doctors, nurses, childcare professionals. We haven't heard anything back. You guys may not be the people to answer that, but was that investigated at all? Or do you think there might be an opportunity there for these professionals coming into our community?
It was at the time, and I believe an Aileen, maybe you could speak to that. Our legal counsel did follow up with council administration on that. I'm sorry, that's as much as I know because it was passed on to our lawyer.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Councillor Knox-Sanham.
Thank you. So 50 workers back to housing. Would those be captured in the HD existing properties, or are you thinking that would be 50 workers looking for local market available housing?
It'll be a combination. We do have, of course, the 16 units. We also have a 5-bedroom house on Canusu? And up the hill. And then, you know, if we need to rent additional accommodations, we'll look at that as well. But Norm, did you want to speak?
Yeah, I think we'll be able to manage most of them in the housing that we have, so.
Okay, thank you.
Follow up? Good. Any other questions from council? Councilor Norbury.
I want to give my council an opportunity before I just continually ramble on. There was discussions about potentially utilizing Northern Lights College for training for underground miners. It sounds like we're moving into a different direction by utilizing Tyson mining out of Saskatchewan, which is great to hear. Do you think there's still opportunity for partnerships there? Because I know we were really hoping that we could potentially utilize this campus here as we're close to the mine site. Just kind of curious if there's still conversations going on there, and if that's still a possibility.
Absolutely, and that is part of our training and development plan. We will be working closely with Tyson to develop a training program and utilizing Northern Lights College as well as the Center for Training and Excellence of Mining, the provincial organization that helps develop the underground mine training program. So the whole intent of extending the construction period is to help with that training component and, you know, grow some more local workers because no offense to my colleague next to me, but the demographic for mining is not on our side. So even with the Tyson group, you're talking about, you know, a demographic that is aging.
Follow up, you good? Okay. I have a couple questions. Sorry, Councilor Gillick, I didn't see your button on first, but guess the May 15th date that you had mentioned in regards to hoping to have the permit in place for your construction to start. How does that look?
I am cautiously optimistic. We are at the behest of the Environmental Assessment Office, and we're already on round 3 on one of our management plans. So it's a lengthy regulatory process. We've indicated that we have a very short construction season in Northeast BC. And, you know, the further we push that into May, the more problematic it could become. Yes, we do have some underground works that, you know, we're going to be focused on, but we have a significant hoist installation that will need to occur under ideally optimized conditions.
Okay. Thank you for that. Councilor Gillick?
Yeah, so I guess I just need some clarification because I probably didn't follow the dates right. So you're looking at starting this May 15th?
Yes.
And then the letter that you're looking for is for a different part of the project?
Yeah, so the way it works is we need their permission to start construction. Then once we've started construction, we have to demonstrate it to them that we are actively in a substantial start scenario.
Okay. Thank you for that. Anything else from council? So I don't have any other questions. I guess if you could just reach out to staff in regards to your letter, so we don't make decisions on delegation nights.
Understood.
But if you could just reach out to staff, they'll get it back in front of council, and then we can have that conversation. I guess I just asked, have you reached out to First Nation within our area of Trudy?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we have regular and ongoing discussions with the Indigenous communities. We have a benefit agreement in place with the Saulteaux First Nation and with the West Moberly First Nation, and we're working on one with the McLeod Lake Indian Band. All 3 nations actively do monitoring and monitoring work and construction works at our site, and that will continue. We have meetings with the First Nations this week while we're here as well.
Okay, good to hear. Have you reached out to Kelly Lake at all?
It's complicated in the sense that we have reached out to Kelly Lake in the context of the federal follow-up programs. There is a requirement to engage a different set of First Nations, including the West Moberly, the Saulteaux, and McLeod Lake. for our federal follow-up programs. For our provincial environmental assessment management plans, we are only required to engage with the West Moberly, the Soto, and the McLeod Lake. However, we also have management plan requirements related to our BC Mines Act permit and our BC Environmental Management Act permits. So we also engage Halfway, Horse Lake, and Doig on those management plans. So it is kind of a combination, but Kelly Lake has been restricted to the federal programs.
Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, any other questions from council? All right, well, again, thank you very much for coming in, giving us an
Thank you for your
update.
time.
And then if you can just connect with staff in regards to your letter, that'll come back before council. All right, 6.3, CONUMA Resources, Lisa Risvold, Sam Payment, and Luke Kempers in attendance to update on the Quintette Mine restart and request written support of early works, coal haul, and important importation applications. Welcome.
Do you want to?
Because my book's in my office. Do you want me to? Reading on here, don't have enough space. Thanks.
Good evening.
Welcome, floor is yours.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for making time to meet with us tonight. We sincerely appreciate it. I would like to also acknowledge that CONUMA is very proud and takes its responsibility to operate on Treaty 8 very seriously. And over the last number of years, we certainly have appreciated the commitment that the Treaty 8 nations have shown to CONUMA and wanting to work with us. I'm Lisa Risvold, the Vice President of Indigenous and Community Affairs with CONUMA. Sam Payment is the Manager of Regulatory and Permitting, and Jody, I wrote down, it is a lengthy regulatory process because that is a theme of a key message of our presentation as well. And Luke Kempers is the Senior Director of Engineering and Geology with CONUMA. Our agenda tonight includes introductions, so a formal introduction of ourselves, as well as the Quintette Mine early work application and the planned coal haul from the Quintette Mine to the Wolverine Mine. We are asking for written support from the District of Tumbler Ridge Mayor and Council for both the Quintette Mine early work application as well as the coal importation application, which is an amendment to the Wolverine Mines Act permit. So we can go back, Sam. So in February of 2023, CONUMA acquired the Quintette Mine from Teck. We're very, very excited about the Quintette Mine and the ability to restart it, as it has a mine life of 15 years and significant more reserves with the promise of future development. The mine provides sustained benefits and opportunities to our employees. We have two mines that are ending production this year, the Wolverine Mine at the end of April and the Brule Mine at the end of 2024. It also provides sustained benefits to the District of Tumbler Ridge and other communities in Northeast BC, as well as Indigenous nations and local businesses. We truly are committed to working and engaging local communities and the Indigenous nations, and I hope that that is felt. The Quintette Mine, it is the transition from the Wolverine Mine. Originally, it was going to be East Bull Moose, so I mean, we've known for a number of years that the coal reserve at Wolverine was going to be mined out. So we first focused on East Bull Moose, but for very real and good reasons related to caribou habitat and caribou use of the area. We then switched our focus to the Herman Wolverine Mine. And now it's the Quintette Mine, and our preference is to develop Quintette because it is a brownfield and it has existing infrastructure. In February of 2023, I mean, I would say within hours of, or less, of the, us acquiring the mine from Teck, we started construction. So we were able to do construction under the current permit. So we've been modernizing the plant. We're constructing the conveyor that will move coal from Mount Babcock to the rail loadout. And we've also started water management features that are focused on avoiding and minimizing the effects of mining to the downstream ecosystem, specifically the Murray River, or the Murray River. Also, as part of the restart, we were required to provide an updated mine, water management closure, and environmental management plans to the BC government, and that happened in September 12th, 2024. It was our target for that restart plan to be approved in the first half of 2024 and to minimize disruption with the transition from the Wolverine mine to the Quintette mine. Because it is a lengthy regulatory process, that application is not targeted to be approved until the first half, or well past the first half of 2024. Yeah, we can. So in response to that, in response to ENV and Emily indicated that the restart application would not be approved by the end of April, beginning May 2024, we responded, and at the end of March, we submitted an early works application. This application involves, we can probably go to the next one, it involves mining a portion of the previously mined Little Windy Pit. It does not require any new disturbance, no tree harvesting or any soil disturbance. It uses all of the existing infrastructure, and where the spoil will be placed, it's within the approved footprint. It also does not require any amendments to the Mine Act or the effluent permit. So we're targeting to have this application approved by May 1st, 2024. It would be for a period of 17 months, which would allow the restart application to be reviewed and for us to continue to engage with Indigenous nations and address any comments and concerns. So mining would occur for 17 months, from May 1st, 2024 to October 2025. We would produce about 3 to 4 million tons of coal and mine approximately 30 million bank cubic meters of waste rock. Yeah, we can go on. Well, and I will take a moment. So our plan is that the majority of the workforce from the Wolverine mine would then transition to Quintette. It's over 75% of Wolverine employees live in Tumbler Ridge, Chetwynd, Dawson Creek, Mackenzie, and Moberly Lake. In 2023, as a company, our payroll exceeded $210 million, with the average employee compensation at over $200,000 a year. And as those of us who have grown and live in resource-based communities truly understand the really great quality of life that mining jobs do provide. To date, at the Quintette Mine, there's been over $220 million spent to date, and additional 400 construction jobs. Our our regional spend, so supporting businesses in Northeast BC and in Grand Prairie, in 2023 was over $210 million. Our spend with Indigenous nation businesses and their affiliations in 2022 and 2023 was over $100 million. So we are truly committed to sustaining local benefits and providing those benefits locally. So this figure on the restart, you can see there is the pink polygon. That is the outline of the Little Windy Pit. Then on the other side, the right-hand side, the early works, there's a green polygon. And that shows the area of the pit that we've proposed to mine. Teck already mined a portion of that pit. They mined the upper seams. We're going to continue to mine through them and then mine to final elevation, but it's not the full extent of the mine pit boundary. We will be placing waste rock spoil into the approved footprint. And so the gray polygon, that represents the approved footprint. We're placing waste rock in that little taupe polygon. So everything is within the existing footprint. We can go to the next slide. We can carry on. Worth noting, so what we've done is, as per direction of the regulator, is we compared Teck's approved mine plan, both the volume of waste rock mined and coal mined, to what we're proposing. And we are moving significantly less waste rock. So we're mining about 30 million bank cubic meters, where Teck proposed to mine 80 bank cubic meters. And we'll be producing about 3.4 million tons of coal, whereas Teck's plan was 5.6 million tons of coal. With the restart package, we will be mining the entire extent of the Quintette mine. This just compares Teck's Little Windy mine plan with the early works application. The other key consideration is what is the impact what's the impact to water? What's the impact to the aquatic ecosystem? So what we did, I'll just again emphasize, this application does not require an amendment to our existing effluent permit. We did compare the water quality and water balance model, so the effects of Teck's mine plan to what we're proposing, and our effects are lower. If you look at current conditions at the compliance point in the Murray River, the water balance and water quality are very similar, if not lower. And that's because we're recycling water within the mine to be used in coal processing as opposed to discharged. So water treatment is not required. The selenium concentrations are predicted to remain below the BC water quality guidelines and site performance objectives of 2 parts per billion. And the concentrations for early works are consistently lower than the LORAX 23 predictions. We can go on, we can skip the next slide too. I'm mindful of time. And on this slide, this shows the outputs of our water quality model, and it compares it with the LORAX model that was done for Teck. And really what's worth noting is the orange line, that's the predicted concentrations of selenium at the Murray River during operations and closure in comparison to the selenium concentrations from the LORAX model. So at the Murray River, the compliance point is 2 parts per billion. We are predicting it to be well below 1 part per million. In fact, selenium concentrations are averaging to be 0.26 parts per billion. So that is consistent or lower than current conditions. So again, there's no new impact. So that's what we wanted to present on early works. We'll now share about the coal haul. So we have started to modernize the processing plant at Quintette. However, from May 1st to June 30th, 2024, we will need to haul coal to the Wolverine plant for processing. The primary route is from the Quintette Mine to the Mast Resource Road via the Canusa Fall Roads to the Wolverine SFR to the Wolverine Mine. As a backup and as a contingency, CONUMA may use highways 52 and 29. We certainly want to ensure that there aren't any concerns with these plans. We will need to amend the Wolverine Mines Act Permit C-223 so we can import coal from Quintette to Wolverine and process it at Wolverine. But again, there are no new impacts for that activity. And then finally, this is just a map that shows the coal haul routes. That's what we wanted to share tonight. We are asking for written support for both the early works and the coal haul route. We absolutely want to sustain employment at our mines. We want to minimize disruption to the communities and to CONUMA's employees. And we do want to sustain the coal production. And I believe an agenda item is also a request for a letter of support. So that should be included in tonight's agenda. If there's any questions, we're happy to answer them. And we would invite, we'd love to tour Mayor and Council and others to the Quintette Mine. It's pretty impressive what's been done. Our construction schedule, I'll borrow from you, Jody, it's compressed. So there's lots going on. We're very, very excited. It's a great opportunity, certainly for our company, and we believe the people of Northeast BC.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your delegation. Thanks for the update to Mayor and Council in regards to the Quintette restart or the early works and then the coal haul and having both options in case one is needed and we don't have a permit for it or support. Councillor Noxana.
Thank you. I would love to come see Quintette at some point. First of all, that sounds
Great,
pretty cool. Mark me down. I mostly have one question. I know going over the mast is going to have minimal impact to town, but if trucks do need to come on the highways close to town, what would be the steps to mitigate the hazard to residents or tourists or anyone traveling here? So will there be like speed limitations, the amount of trucks traveling, only at night? Like, what's the plan for that?
Yes, absolutely. Is this?
Yep,
We're on?
We're good.
Okay, great. Terrible with these things. Yeah, absolutely. We do have a number of mitigations in place. This is very similar to the coal haul that we did in 2021 and 2022. Almost the exact same, except we have the alternate route being the primary mast and Wolverine FSR route. So in this case, yes, we would have speed monitoring. We would be looking at ensuring, all the trucks are tarped. Primarily, we're looking at right now empty trucks coming back on the highway, so we shouldn't have really any issues with coal dust. However, we will be doing regular monitoring of the road. In the event that there is any type of spillage, we will have a crew ready to clean that up. There will be radar used as well, and then in the event that we notice speed is becoming an issue, we will also add potential electronic signage and or additional signage. But we do have several mitigations planned for this coal haul, including daily inspections as well.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good. Councillor Julik.
Thanks for coming to present. It's always good to have more information, and I'm like Councillor Noxana, I'm in for the tours.
Awesome.
Drive by there all the time and look at these big buildings with all the big windows. So if I could just get a little bit more clarification on the use of 52 and 29. What I understood from the letter, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the full loaded trucks are going to be on the mast, but are all the empties coming back on 52 and 29?
Right now, that is the plan. That is the plan. So we will be primarily utilizing the Canusio Falls Road. It's about 2 kilometers to the mast, and then from the mast to the Wolverine FSR, and then up for loaded trucks. Right now, we're working on logistics, but if we can get the empties back as well and it's efficient through the FSR route, then we will. If it's more efficient to have them go on the highway, then we'll do that.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is the same as Councillor Noxana. That's getting into the tourism season, and you got to go by the boat launch, which is pretty busy, and and the Canusio Fall Road, which is busy, and yeah, so it'll be about educating educating the public probably the biggest piece. So yeah, good to know. It'd be awesome if they could use it, but I also understand the logistics of getting trucks back and forth. So thanks very much.
You're welcome. I will also just note on that we do intend to add to our website, like we did in 21 and 22, a contact information in the event, that there is public concern, that we do have an avenue for people to contact CONUMA where we can address those concerns.
Thank you. Councilor Norbury?
Thank you, Mayor Kikak. I'm just writing down that point that Ms. Payment made about public concerns, how they can bring that up, because I think that's always an important thing, especially when sometimes we act as like the sounding board for residents' concerns, and part of our job is to direct them to the proper source. And if we have that, that'd be great. So, but I want to say thank you for coming in. I love hearing what our industry partners are doing. You're a big part of our community, and very grateful that you come in. My question to you, and I'm going to throw Mayor Kakalka's work out there at you, but do you feel that if there's ever a point that you feel that you need a little more advocacy for your early works restart? We'd love flying our mayor down to Victoria. And I can feel Mayor Kakalka looking at me. We love sending them down to Victoria and dragging our local MLA along with us as well. So, if he's not available, I'm sure one of us would, but we're really willing to do whatever we can to assist you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We genuinely appreciate that. I will say, so back in May of last year, we submitted 2 OLTC applications to do tree harvesting at Quintette in support of construction. And the mayor's advocacy certainly it was meaningful and it made a difference. So yes, we will share more about what is involved in the early works application. And we do appreciate the support. We can't overemphasize that.
Thank you. Councilor Dussault.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, thank you for coming in, giving us all this great information, and I, too, look forward to a tour.
I'll get everyone's sizes, because we're good at swag, too.
All right.
Great, thank you. We'll coordinate that in the near future.
I appreciate it. If you can just let staff know, we can try to fit it into our calendars. A couple questions, but I'll just make a couple comments first, just so council's aware. We did meet with CONUMA Coal last week, and I want to be straightforward. That's why CONUMA Coal has come in as a delegation. They did ask for a letter of support, and I said it was best to update all council. So I want to be straight frank about that. And one of it was they're well acknowledge that I am heading to Victoria, and one of the meetings I have is with Minister of Mines, Josie Osborne. So I know they will be supplying the early works documentation, so I can speak with Minister Osborne in regards to that. My question would be the restart permit. Do you have a date? I know you say that they've acknowledged that you does not look like it was going to be May or June 1st, which I believe previously was the button. Now we're looking at the early works, and we're hoping for May 1st, and I'll be asking that same question. What does that look like, just like I asked HD, because we're April 15th today, I believe it is. So those are the 2 questions I would have.
And sorry, can you just repeat the first question that you had?
Restart permit. Do you have a date, approximately?
So we're right now looking at restart at the end of the year. That's what's been communicated to CONUMA. We don't have a firm date. We do have to go through the Mine Review Committee review process. Right now we are in screening. We are submitting screening round 2 responses back to the province and the MRC this week. And we do anticipate entering review in early May.
Okay.
What we want, well, we wanted May 1st, 2024, but we want November 1st, 2024. And we've shared that date with Indigenous nations as well.
Okay, appreciate that. And then just on your early works, which, we're hoping for May 1st, what have you heard? Are you willing to share that? I don't want to put you guys out there if you're not sure yet. I don't want to stick you to a date. Again, I know I'm going down there, and my job has been well pointed out by this council. But we need to make sure we're true knowledgeable when it comes to meeting with the ministry.
Yeah, absolutely. At this stage, we have heard that May 1st is not going to be an approval date for us. We are receiving screening comments, or we're anticipating screening comments tomorrow. We can't speak too much about what we've heard regarding the application, but again, we're not asking for any amendments to permits. It's all within the existing permits, and other than that, we unfortunately have not heard a specific date for approval.
Okay. Thank you for that, Sam. And I'm just going to make a couple comments, and I know council has brought it up. There was a couple councillors had brought it up, and that's your coal haul. So previously, when CONUMA Coal had decided to haul coal out of the Quintette operation as well as PRC, again, they came forward to council back then, and I'll be honest, I didn't hear any complaints from residents. I think CONUMA Coal did a stand-up job when it came to that coal haul. Not only did you do the inspections as you said you would, spot checking whoever you hired, the speed signs up and such. So I just want council to be aware of that when they did it in 2021 and 2022. I know personally, I never received any complaints. The district of Tumbler Ridge never received any, letters or emails complaining about what happened with the coal or if there was dirt or whatever. I just want to pat you guys on the back for when you guys brought that forward in 2021 and 2022. To me, you stood behind what you said. This is, we're going to do spot checks. If there's going to be a speeding issue, we're going to get on top of that. So I just want to comment on that and, pat you on the back. I thought that was well done. So, and I understand with this coal haul that you're trying to use an FSR. I appreciate that. Again, when we were meeting with CONUMA, I said it's best to be ahead of it, and let's look at the highway as well, because to me, I don't want to see them held up. If we can get some early works going and we can start coal hauling, again, we keeps our residents working as well as other municipalities, employees that live in these other municipalities in the region, and to me, we want to support them as well as CONUMA. So I want to make those comments. You guys did a really, really good job last time. So please keep up that kind of good work. If it has to come down the highway, to please stick to those standards you set to yourself. The other comment I'll make is just in regards to what I've seen since CONUMA has come on board in the community. And to me, you are very valuable an asset to this community in regards to relationship, not only with the municipality, but to our residents, our non-for-profit organizations, to schools. You got your hands and stuff into all that. And, again, thank you very much for doing what you guys are doing, not only in our community, but the region. So we hear it, or I've heard it from other municipalities as well. But I want to thank CONUMA Coal for the support they give to all those organizations, as well as support to our high school youth and stuff. So if you can keep that up too, we'd really appreciate it.
Absolutely, and thank you very much. It means a lot, and that's what we want to do.
Appreciate it.
And we want to do it for decades to come.
I agree. Councillor Klikash.
Thank you for coming. Wasn't the last coal all done at night?
We'll get back to you on that.
I'm pretty sure it was at night. And
I-
will this one be the same?
I think it was both.
Yeah, I believe it was during the day as well, and I say that because I'm thinking back to pictures of the trucks getting loaded at Quintette. So I'm sure it did include the day, but we'll confirm that.
Please,
Yeah.
thank you.
Follow up, Councillor Klikash.
I just would like to have that follow-up.
Yep.
That's for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
If you could just if you could just email it to staff. Any other questions from council? Okay, well, again, thank you very much for coming in, spending the
Thank you for
time
your
and
time.
updating council. So
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
it's further down. So again, we don't make decisions in front of delegations. So later on, there's a. Yeah, talk about that later. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep, we'll take a 5-minute break. Okay, we're going to move on to consent agenda. Take the recommendation, please. Councillor Julik. Sorry.
That all items in the April 15th, 2024 consent agenda be moved for information.
Seconder. Councillor Clickash. All in favor? Carried. Are there any items the council like to bring forward? Councillor Noxana.
7.2.
For discussion. Seconder. Councillor Norbury. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Councillor Noxana.
So we don't make decisions when the delegation's here, but I'm assuming because this is in our consent agenda, we're allowed to.
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion that we send them a letter of support for their early works.
And Cole.
And Coal Hall.
Seconder. Councillor Dussault. Discussion. Councillor Noxana. Question?
Nope, I just didn't hit my button again.
No problem.
I obviously support the motion.
Okay, call the question. All in favor? Motion carries. Are there any other items the council like to bring forward for discussion? Councillor Dussault.
7.4.
For discussion, seconder. Councillor Norbury, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Go ahead, Councillor Dussault.
I think this is a fabulous idea that they would like to put this money in for junior golfers to go golfing with their parents or maybe grandparent or whoever. I think it's a great idea. I totally support this. I'm not a golfer myself, but hey, if we can help support and they want to do this, then by all means.
Thank you. Councillor Noxana.
Thank you. I'm just wondering logistically, is there a accounting function for the golf course to make this work simply, or is this going to take a whole bunch of?
Yeah, we can go to staff. My thoughts on this one is to send it back to staff anyways, looking for a report to make sure that it's something they can do. I don't know the ins and outs and running of that department. Just to make sure that, they ask about asking the district to track it and all this to make sure they don't go over. But that's me. I think we just sent for a staff report. Councillor Noxana.
I'm going to make a motion that we send it back to staff to find out if this is feasible.
Okay, seconder. Councillor Hoffman. Discussion. Councillor Julik.
Yeah, I would be looking for how much extra staff time it would take, if it's doable, how big of a deal is it, kind of thing. Like, I know us sitting up here think it's, oh, how hard could it be? We also don't understand the logistics, so that's what I'm looking for. Like, I just think it's all about how do we keep track and how much reporting do they want back.
Ms. Torval. Just curious if that'd be the realm staff will capture.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. Yes, we will look at this and we'll have staff obviously explore and see what would be involved from our side. And also, we can also look and see maybe there's some suggestions we can do to give to the groups so that they can able to work with us to manage this. But we'll certainly see what we can come up with and hopefully a great solution for everyone involved.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Any more discussion? Okay, going to call a question on the motion. All in favor? Motion carries. Any more discussion in regards to 7.4? Councillor Noxana.
Thank you. I see here they're also asking if we would be willing to match their donation. Is that something we're allowed to bring up in budget deliberations? I'm assuming it would be taxation.
Okay, I don't know if I misread this because I didn't see, they talk about the Johnny Malcolm Foundation that matched it. I don't see anywhere in regards to where they're asking the district to match their funds. Give you a few minutes, maybe you could just find it. I'm sorry, I apologize. I did read it, I just didn't see it.
Okay, maybe it was the Johnny Malcolm Foundation. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I just want to make sure I didn't miss it. You can take a few minutes, Councillor Noxana, if you need. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss that part. I just see that they were currently applying with the Johnny Malcolm Foundation, but they've already got it proven. Okay. Any more discussion? I just want to make a couple comments in regards to, hats off to men's golf night and ladies golf night. You know, to do something like this and then bring it forward, and I mean, we'll wait for the staff report, but, you know, and then to join up with the Johnny Malcolm Foundation to have that matching and, you know, giving back to the youth if they're accompanied with an adult, to help cover that. I think that's, you know, great by those two organizations that are using our golf courses and to be able to give back. I think it's fabulous. So I just wanted to mention that. Hats off to those two organizations. I guess three because of the Johnny Malcolm for topping it up. So I mean, they're all about that kind of thing for youth and children. So we thank them too. So any more discussion in regards to 7.4? Okay, is there anything else council would like to bring forward for discussion? Councillor Jilic.
I would like to bring 7.3 forward.
Okay, for discussion, seconder. I'll second it. All in favor? Carried. Councillor Jilic.
I don't see anything specific here on how we can follow up. I heard maybe some stuff at NCLGA might come forward. I just thought they had some really good points in this letter in regards to the return letter we got from Minister Ralston. So I appreciated them following up with us as well as with the minister, because I thought they had some really good points and even echoed some of the stuff we talked about here as well. So I don't see anything that they're asking for us to do, but if it was to come forward, I fully support them in continuing to look for that base put in. Sorry, take it back to how you and Councillor Norbury have both talked. Mayor Kauka and Councillor Norbury have talked about adding to the services rather than taking away. So
Yeah,
I just thought they did a really good job there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And it is, it's going to be at the NCLJ for sure. It'll be in the voting part there, so council can whoever's attending can obviously get in there and deal with it. I will give a bit of an update in regards to that. We did have, and it's through the PRD, we did have BC Wildfire Service come in at our last PRD meeting. There was talk, a little bit more clarity from the BC Wildfire side. Doesn't mean that to me, I don't think we still should be pushing on this. I believe we should. But it all came down, maybe they're backtracking a bit, not BC Wildfire Service, but the provincial government. It now came down to, it was housing. We need to replace the trailers and everything else, and it's going to take a bit of time and such. So from the PRD side, we asked BC Wildfire Service if they need us to advocate to have the trailers installed within a month, to please let us know, and we will hit up the government to say, let's just get these trailers here, and we don't have to move them. So that's kind of what BC Wildfire Service said from their side. So I believe the ministry is now starting to realize, well, they opened up a can and they got more support from us. So just wanted to make sure council knew that. And it was discussed at Kofi as well. Okay, are there any other items council would like to bring forward? Councillor Jilic.
I don't know if it's 7.5 or 7.6, but Ministry of Housing, one of them.
We'll just put 7.5 and 7.6 for discussion now. It's just an overall Minister of Housing discussion.
Okay.
Seconder, Councillor Noxana, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Councillor Jilic.
I thought it was lame. I thought their response was lame. They didn't answer anything that I understand. Like, I didn't dig out the old letter, but this isn't what we're asking for. I can go and look at every provincial program out there. I was looking for something specific for Tumbler Ridge. It's like he didn't read the letter. He just, well, here, they're asking for something, so we'll just write him a generic letter. So I don't know how much more traction you've got, and I don't know what the next steps are, but lame.
Yeah, so just before we go to Councillor Noxana, I mean, this is just a new announcement they've done. So this is not really a response to a whole bunch of our letters. It's in regards to some of the stuff they are starting to announce. Just so council's aware, we do have a minister meeting with the Minister of Housing on April 24th. So there'll be more to discuss in regards to Chamberlain with BC Housing with the minister. So wanted to update council on that part. I got Councillor Noxana, then Councillor Hoffman.
Thank you. Councillor Jilic said it a lot nicer than I was going to. I recognize that these are just the generic letters they're sending out to every municipality across the province, but just want to echo my frustration that we've been waiting for a year for a response and we've heard crickets. So happy that you got the meeting. Hopefully something productive comes out of it.
Agreed. Councillor Hoffman.
Thank you, Mayor, and I guess I'm thirding the motion at this point, but lame is the nice way of saying it. I just find this kind of insulting, honestly. These issues are not our issues. Like, I don't know to address them to our mayor saying, oh, we have inclusionary zoning, and by the way, nobody's going to build in your area anyways because they can't get anything that will be a reasonable rate of return because it costs too much to build in your area for what your housing values are. And I also like to just throw in a cash in lieu of affordable housing option is ridiculous to put in any housing documentation because that's exactly what developers have been doing when they can get away with it forever. So lame on lame, and yeah, I'll just stop there. Thank you.
No, thank you for your comments. I know staff member will be attending, and I know we plan on taking these letters, and especially on page 43, British Columbia is facing an unprecedented housing shortage. We need every local government in the province to work with us and enable the development of more housing in every community. That's all I'm taking. That's the only part I want. So we all know what the marching orders are, and it's in regards to the BC Housing Complex down on Chamberlain. And to me, that is the marching orders. And to me, all this council, and majority of council, I believe it might have been all of us there at the open house, or sorry, the meeting we had with some residents and BC Housing and Minister staff. And there was promises made there by BC Housing. And I don't think Minister of Housing has realized there was a promise made by BC Housing in regards to coming back up and getting into some discussion with our residents on the needs and such. And I think that just needs to be, they need to understand that, yeah, we understand it. We understand that maybe we didn't keep the renovations up and maintenance on these buildings, so now they've, I'm not saying they're unlivable. I think they need to be reevaluated, whatever they do, but we need housing in Tumbler Ridge. So that's pretty much how it's going to be spoken. Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor Calc. I'm not going to comment on letters. Just ignore them. But your comments about BC Housing, I don't want to try to micromanage it, but the comments that I made and was made there was meaningful engagement with our community. Don't take statistics from, the applications that are being put in online, because I know how underutilized those services are, because I have people that ask me all the time, how do I get into those housing complexes? How do I get into BC Housing? And they don't make it easy. They make it very difficult. So I love to reiterate, I know I'm speaking to the choir, but just sharing some frustration there that it needs to be meaningful engagement with our community, not just trying to take statistics off the internet. So thanks.
No, and I appreciate the comments, Councilor Norbury. And, I'll be honest, we have 30 minutes. I'm hoping that, he's willing to extend that, doesn't have another meeting. We can have a little bit more in-depth conversation instead of trying to ramble on in 30 minutes and listen to their responses. And if not, I'm hoping that we can set up, whether it's a coffee after, like whatever. He's in Victoria anyway, so he can't be busy all night long. I meet him at his apartment or his hotel. I think we just need to have that. We need to do the job now. We really, really can see the need in our community, for the single parents, but, just in the population in general. So I know we all wear this on our shoulders, and I hope that we see something come out of it. And I promise I'll do my best job. And we also have the UBCM to circle back. So I believe that should be something we automatically put down for the Minister of Housing at the UBCM. Maybe that's where we sign the check and then we all look at the UBCM, but I think it's very, very important that we don't let go of this. So, all right, anything else to be discussed in regards to 7.5 and 7.6? Okay, moving on to bylaws, fees and charges, amendment bylaw number 732, 2024 for adoption. Report dated April 15, 2024 from the Deputy Corporate Officer seeking the adoption of fees and charges amendment bylaw number 732, 2024. Recommendation. Councillor Noxena.
That the District of Tumbler Ridge Fees and Charges Amendment Bylaw number 732, 2024 is adopted.
Seconder. Councillor Julik. Discussion. Call the question. All in favor? Motion carries. Animal Responsibility Amendment Bylaw number 733, 2024 for adoption. Report dated April 15, 2024 from the Director of Protective Services, Fire Chief, seeking the adoption of the Animal Responsibility Amendment Bylaw 733, 2024. Councillor Dussault.
That the District of Tumbler Ridge Animal Responsibility Amendment Bylaw, number 733, 2024, be adopted.
Seconder, Councillor Noxana. Discussion. Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Okay, new business, EO05, Council Expense Policy Amendment. Report dated April 15th, 2024, from the Deputy Corporate Officer regarding E05, Council Expense Policy Amendment. Councillor Julik.
The council amends the EO-5 council expense policy as presented.
Seconder, Councillor Noxana. Discussion. Call the question. All in favor? Carried. 9.2 TR2 Travel Expense Policy Amendment. Report dated April 15th, 2024, from the Deputy Corporate Officer regarding TR2-Travel Expense Policy Amendment. Recommendation. Councillor Noxana.
The council amends the TR2-travel expense policy as presented.
Seconder, Councillor Julik. Discussion. Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Grant and aid applications, Lions Club of Tumbler Ridge. Report dated April 15th, 2024, from the Deputy Corporate Officer regarding grant and aid application, Lions Club of Tumbler Ridge. Councillor Dussault?
I will excuse myself as I sit on the board of the Lions.
Thank you. All right. Councillor Noxana.
The council receives the grant and aid application from the Lions Club of Tumbler Ridge for discussion.
Seconder, Councillor Julik. All in favor? Carried. Councillor Noxana.
I should have made a motion and Roxanne or Councillor Julik would have. Anyway, they're asking for $10,000 to help run meals,
Go ahead. No, let her finish, and then we can correct her.
the alternatives.
It's a misprint, so.
Okay.
So I was going to wait. I apologize. Some of us were here, and it's, so in their grant application that they submitted to the DTR on page 114,
Yep.
it just states in regards to the total request is 5,000, not the 10,000, as they plan on to initiate a 50% contribution from their side.
Okay, so they're looking for funding to support their Meals on Wheels program. This goes to address a need that they have seen in Tumbler Ridge. If they're willing to contribute half the funds, I'm absolutely in support. I was in support last time, so I can wait to make a motion if more people want to speak to it.
Okay. I'll put a motion on the floor that a grant and aid for 5,000 be approved for the Lions Club of Tumbler Ridge. Take a seconder. Councillor Norbury. Discussion. Councillor Julik. Sorry, it just didn't click.
That's all good. I am in, I have knowledge for tomorrow's budget meeting. I do believe that this is a really good, everybody has the same knowledge. I don't have any private information as I look at Nicole. As not Councillor Noxana. Oh, she's been a long day. I appreciate the 1 year ask versus the 3 year ask. I would hope that we can find, it's a tough one for me again. I know what's in their bank account and it feels like by denying the motion that then I'm not supporting the great work that is going to come from this money. So currently I'm definitely a maybe.
Okay, thank you for that. I got myself and I got Councillor Hoffman. Before that happens, Ms. Torval, do they meet the criteria for grant and aid
Yes.
in regards to their finance? Thank you. So I'm just going to make a couple comments. So previous meeting, I know we debated this and such, and I did have concerns. I had concerns that, the 3 year, the amounts and such, was put back by council with a motion on the floor to send it back to look at a 1 year. and such. And my thing is I will support the motion on the floor. And I think, when I see the lines come forward now, and maybe they listen to the debate, and we're trying to do the best we can for the community, and not just the taxpayers, but also all the organizations. So my belief here is that yes, they realize it. So hey, let's try to partner up. And I think when staff fills the position of the grant writer, which I know is posted at this time, maybe that's one of the directions that the Lions Club will seek out to see if there is anything. Maybe I'm not going to say they miss, I want to be careful because maybe they've never looked. But again, there may be opportunities for them to work with a grant writer to have a look at grants that may be available elsewhere from the provincial government. And if not, I think this gives us an opportunity to reach out to the Lions Club to see if it could be an advocacy for them. And at the UBCM, this could be an ask that, we have other organizations or other communities that go forward and talk and ask and get things from, I'll be honest with you, the Ministry of Health. May not be with the minister, may be with his staff, but looking for contributions to the municipality. And I think this is a really good one. And, be honest, it's, 11 people some weeks, 14 some other weeks, maybe more people will join. But to me, I think, this gives us an opportunity to support a great organization that's in our community. They're doing something very good with the money that they've asked for in regards to Meals on Wheels for seniors and such, that now we have a year to work on it, and that's why I'll support the motion on the floor. Councillor Hoffman.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to Councillor Julick's comments, I get that their balance sheet is there, but without a breakdown of what they have plans for that money and with all the various things that they do, I wouldn't want to hold up a program like this. I guess you'll make up your own mind, I'm sure, but just I thought of that too, and I do look at that specific number when we do have proposals from certain organizations when they put their financials in. And if it was the only thing they ran, then yeah, let's bring that down. But there's just so many things the Lions Club does in town. Like, for example, I don't know what the budget that they have planned for upgrading the campground, for example. I just don't know. And I was in support of this before, but for half the amount and them supporting, I hope that you can find a way to support this. Thank you.
Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor Kukalka. I continue to support this project as, I think it's important for us to step up and help our people in need, especially when the Lions Club is willing to put forth half the funding. Outstanding, good for them. I don't think we should be punishing an organization that's been operating for 40 years because they've done well and they've been able to achieve financial responsibility by saving money. I think that, if anything, we should still continue. Again, I just think we should continue to help our community members in the most basic function that we can, and that's by providing them food.
Thank you. New information, Councillor Julick? Okay, I'm just going to call the question. All in favor of the recommendation on the floor? Motion is carried. If we can get Councillor Dussault in, please. All right, development variance permit application for 171 Kiskatna Avenue. Report dated April 15, 2024 from the Director of Protective Services Fire Chief regarding development variance permit application for 171 Kiskatna Avenue. Recommendation, Councillor Noxana.
That council authorizes administration to proceed with the development variance permit process for the application submitted for 171 Kiskatna Crescent, lot number 55, plan number PGP 29399.
Seconder, Councillor Norbury. Discussion. Councillor Norbury, sorry.
Thank you, Mayor Kukalka. So I've been in a house that has this type of expansion done off the front. When I start thinking about allowing others to offer it, I first look at what we already allow in our community. Just because we do it once doesn't mean we have to do it for all. Fair enough. But, I don't see a potential issue with this. I support the motion on the floor. Thanks.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Okay, going to call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, 9.5, Golf Course Marshal, report dated April 15, 2024, from the Director of Community Services and Facilities regarding Golf Course Marshal. Put the recommendation that council receives this report for information. Take a seconder. Council Norbury. Discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Schedule of meetings. Just from council side, any concerns? Councilor Noxena?
Thank you. On the 21st, we have a regular meeting, but some of us are heading down to,
22nd?
of May, sorry.
May?
Some of us are heading down to the Keeping It Rural Conference.
Yep.
Just wondering if we want to adjust that meeting?
There'd be quorum.
There would be? Okay.
Yep, there's only 3 of us, I believe, so I believe there's only 3 attending at this time. There may be more, but I know I've put my name forward and I know 2 councilors that have come forward. So is there any other council besides the 3 that have advised staff going? Because that could change that meeting date, because there may not be quorum. Okay. Sorry, Mr. Orville?
Sorry, I'm mouthing things here, but we have time because it's well into May.
Yep.
So if we know that there are others attending and we won't have quorum for that meeting, then we do have time to reschedule.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you for that. Sorry to put you on the spot there. But I just want to make, like when there's quorum, I have a hard time trying to move a meeting or cancel a meeting. Councillor Dussault?
May 6th, I'll be zooming in. I will be in Dawson going to the Foreigner concert.
Okay. I guess just as staff, and I understand sometimes it's tough to make those decisions ahead of time. Understanding we have a budget meeting tomorrow night, and then we have 2 more coming close to the end of the month here. Any foreseeable issues there? We don't need to add one in May, pre-add it in case, or how are we looking, Mr. Orville?
Thank you, Council, Mayor, for that question. I guess we will know more after tomorrow night's meeting. We'll see how that one goes, and yeah, we'll just have to play it by ear from there.
Okay, appreciate that. Just want to put it out there just in case. To me, I like to pre-schedule, and obviously we're using a budget specialist just to make sure we have a bit of room in there, because the following week we have people traveling off to the NCLJ, and that could be a rise concern on that week. That's why I was looking from the 6th to the 10th there if something needed to be pre-added. Okay, anything else from council for scheduled meetings? Okay. Any notice of motions? Councillor Gillick.
That staff reaches out to the operator of Monkman RV Park to see.
Oh, no, hang on a second.
Oh, this is
No,
over and above the new one.
This is number 10.
Gotcha, sorry.
For notice of motions to come forward. So I do have a notice of motion to put out, that staff reach out to BC Wildfire Service about controlled burns with the support of our fire department inside the municipality. Okay, any other notice of motions? Okay, on to 10.1, Monkman RV Campground, start of the season. Councillor Gillick.
That staff reaches out to the operator of Monkman RV Park to see if they are interested in opening the park before May 15th as per their contract, or have the district open it early if the operator is not interested.
Seconder, Councillor Hoffman. Discussion. Councillor Gillick.
I think with the unseasonable weather that we're having and the struggle for housing, I know looking on Facebook, the people reaching out to look for rental places and such, this motion came forward for me as I had somebody reach out to me personally by email, looking to possibly get into the RV park earlier as the long-term sites have been they're full, and so just for terms of their housing. But I believe that it's, I think it's a good idea If there's the possibility for the park operator to get in there, they have the opportunity to work some more income, as long as staff don't see any issues with opening the regular operating side of the campground.
Okay. Before I go to Councilor Norbury, just a couple questions for staff. And I apologize, Ms. Torval, I traveled until late Friday and I didn't have an opportunity today, so my apologies. Is it anywhere in the contract for the contract holder to come forward to the district to open early? Are you aware?
Council, I am not aware.
Okay. I apologize for putting you in a place there, my bad. So, and the other question I would have is, I get that we have the park open today for long term. Does it prevent us from using the other stalls? Is there a thing that says we will only open up for the winter stalls, or does it, I didn't see that anywhere, and that's why I asked that question.
I would have to look into that as well, in addition to that. Getting back to opening up and speaking with the operator, I was advised that the operator will be away until sometime in May 10th or 12th or something like that, so.
Okay. So so I'm assuming maybe the operators reached out to you, heard about the motion coming forward? Are you allowed to say that, or?
I heard, another staff person reached out to me.
Okay, appreciate that. I got Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor Kakaka. So I don't have an issue with the notice of motion. I think it's fine. My only concern is, so if we run it, do we have capacity for that? Yeah, that's my only question, like how would we run that?
Ms. Torval.
Thank you. I'm not able to answer that tonight because I'm not really sure.
Thank you.
I'll have to get back to council, maybe bring a report or something.
Okay.
See the logistics of everything.
Yep, no, appreciate the comments. Councillor Hoffman?
Thank you, Mayor, and apologize in advance if this is not the time for this, but since it's the subject matter, is there a policy on people using RVs in their own residential yards or driveways?
Yep, probably not the topic, but the recommendation that's put on the floor.
Okay.
But it could be an email you send to ask that question. So it's not that I don't support the motion on the floor. I have concerns hearing from staff, or the question that came from Councilor Norbury, about do we have staff capacity to open this if we decide to give that direction. To me, we're giving clear direction in this motion that states staff reaches out to the operator of the Moncton RV Park to see if they are interested in opening the park before May 15th as per their contract, or have the district open it early if their operator is not interested. So we're going to give direction tonight to have staff open it. To me, what happens if there's a capacity issue from staff side? Councillor Julik?
Yeah, I'm totally willing to amend that. It would be more around if it was possible for the district, like for me, it's just if it's possible, yay. If it's not, I totally get that as well. Then I have an answer for the person who reached out to me as well. But I also see it as a revenue gain as well.
Are you making an amendment or we're leaving it? Councillor Julik?
I make a motion to amend the motion to read, have the district open it if the operator is not interested, if we have capacity.
Okay, thank you. Seconder on the amendment, Councillor Noxana. Discussion on the amendment. Councillor Norbury.
Thank you. I appreciate Councillor Julik for making that amendment. That was my concern, is just, is there capacity, when we're making these decisions, we want to make sure that staff is involved in the discussion. This will be an opportunity to allow them to tell us this is a great idea, they can do it, they can't, because, it's important to involve them. Thanks.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, make the same comments. Not that I try to rebuttal the same comment, but thank you for to debate this and then come out with that amendment. And again, I don't want to direct staff that we're opening it and they don't have staff. To me, that's a direct thing to make sure they have the staff. Somehow, some way, find staff. And, just a comment there, you may see staff reach out and realize that we can open up the other side without having even involved the operator if the operator is not available. But I do support the amendment. So I'll call the question on the amendment. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, want me to do opposed? Okay. Councillor Klickash is opposed. Motion carries. So any more discussion in regards to the amended motion? Call the question on the amended motion. All in favor? Motion carries. Councilor's business. Thanks Councilor Norbury and Councilor Julik for reports. And is there anything else off the floor? Councilor Norbury and then Councilor Julik.
Thank you, Mayor Kakalka. I wanted to bring up, we had a child care task force meeting last week. And, you know, a quick meeting, we'll have some minutes when they're available, just like we've had the January minutes, but this is the January minutes, it's not our last meeting minutes. Thank you, Councillor Roxana. One of the issues that was brought up in that meeting was conflicting services with the YMCA Tumbler Ridge. Now, you know, it wasn't expressly said, but I mean, well, it was said that they're concerned about their operational capacity with bringing on new programs for the community, like their after-school program at the elementary school, their summer programs, and new programs opening up in the community. They're concerned about their ability to operate, you know, and you know, I think we always walk a fine line between offering services to our community, which our community needs, but also not impacting or getting outside of our sphere into business, right? Like we can't, I personally don't believe in that the free market is the answer to all. I absolutely don't. I believe that government's role is to provide services, but at the same time, we have a fine line there. So I've asked the YMCA to come in as a delegation to council to discuss these things because I want to see them succeed. And I don't want to see a win-lose situation for anybody, whether that be the district, the residents, or the YMCA. So I hope that they will come in and have a chat with us. I gave them some dates, and I hope they can come to like a PPC for us to have a good discussion about this because, yeah, I want to see a win-win-win all the way around. So.
Can you just broaden what you're talking about? Sorry.
I'd rather not get into specifics about what's being offered. It's just, I think generally, we want to make sure that we do not go into business operation realms or hinder businesses from operating, especially the YMCA.
Okay, appreciate that. Councillor Julik and then Councillor Noxana.
Yes, thank you to Mayor Kakalka. I kind of touched base with him before the meeting during the meeting about Allen, and I don't have it on the right page for his last name, who came and presented to us tonight and what we can do to follow up with him. I feel like the accessibility stalls are possible, but I don't know, and so I would like to ask staff if they have some off-the-cuff information for me and go from there.
You bring back a report or whatever, not off the cuff.
Okay, so would
whatever you're like, if you can, so if it's something
motion?
specific, if you can do that, because if not, I might have to excuse me. This depends on what you motion.
Oh.
So I don't care how you motion it, but to
Okay.
me, to me, I understand there's a delegation. I obviously stepped out for it.
Yeah.
So if we're going to talk about the reason, I only stepped out for a certain reason of that
Yeah.
delegation. So if you're going to talk about that, I'll wait to put the motion and I'll excuse myself. But if it's something that was within the delegation, we're asking staff to bring something back, to a PMP or whatever, it doesn't even have to be a report, that we're just adding it to a PMP for further discussion.
I would be happy to add it to PPC meeting for further discussion, the accessibility spots that the resident was asking about.
Okay. I don't believe we need a second or some motion, or just some direction, just to get some more information about it. Because I know staff is working through the legislative, making it accessible in the province of British Columbia. So I know, so they may have some criteria there already to be able to fill us in at a PMP. Okay, Councillor Noxana.
Thank you. I was at the Child Care Task Force along with Councillor Norbury meeting last week, and I am not going to be as kind as his comments were. The District of Tumbler Ridge is directly in competition with the YMCA Child Care Center's school-age programs. This is out of school, so after-school programming and summer programming. I was on the Child Care Center board when these programs were implemented by the District of Tumbler Ridge for free, and that heavily impacted their ability to run. We have now asked the YMCA to offer these programs for a fee for families, and they are unable to, or going to be unable to continue these if we continue to undercut their business. I do hope they come in as a delegation and we can discuss options for them to continue.
Okay. Thank you for that. Sometimes it makes it, I don't want to protect the YMCA. Sometimes if they're unavailable, it can also address the latter. You know, I did see it. I know we Direction of the previous council was for staff to do a summer program. I'm well aware of that. That was direction from the council to come forward and do a summer events program. We called it something, I mean, that's what it's called, but, we talked about when we were young, which was a long time ago, but you used to be able to go down to the park, they'd have a little building set up, you'd have all these free games and such and stuff. Now, the drop-in after school, I wasn't aware of that. That one's different to me, but I think when they come in as a delegation, or if they send a letter, we can get some information from staff.
Absolutely. I have one more thing.
Yep, give her.
I attended Kofi last week. It was really well done. Really, really busy few days down in Vancouver. There was a lot of focus on what to do with the byproduct of logging. So instead of just focusing on getting the logs out and burning slash piles, what to do with those slash piles, whether it was chipping or biofuel or that's product that can be used. And a lot of conversation on forest management for effective fire mitigation. So hopefully they get some traction there and what can be done in the future to help manage our forests effectively to help mitigate communities' risks as we go through drought periods especially. So, well done. I was happy to attend.
Thank you. Anything else from council? So I made a couple comments. I did attend Kofi with Councillor Noxana, and yeah, the forest management was a big thing coming from Kofi and to their membership. But they want to partake that with government. They want to be partners in regards to managing of the forest, whether that's going in and thinning out certain areas and looking at that and maybe some different stands being planted. And then we talked about that, instead of slash piles, can we get some energy plants built, biomass plants? Prince George Mayor Simon mentioned that in regards to a couple sessions he was in. The other thing that was talked about is having very little holdups within community forests expanding. Mayor from Prince George had first brought it forward as he was on the platform up there, and to me, half the room clapped. So it told me that there was quite a few people engaged with that community forest, and it went on from there. And the talk about the community forest was in regards to, forest management, wildfire protection, wildfire thinning, and how what community forests are engaged in, and how much more that could help community forests by doing the expansions. Premier Eby joined on Friday after lunch. He was the guest speaker, and that was one of I think it was the second or third question that was asked to him right away, is if he would make sure that there is no preventative measures put in front for the community forests to expand. I mean, obviously we know with First Nations and stuff, there's certain criteria. He didn't really answer that. He understands what community forests are doing, but he didn't. There's some hold up from government. They understand that they have cut the amount that we're allowed to cut through the province, and they definitely see that forestry is a viable part of British Columbia. But to me, there seems to be a little bit of work from the government side. They did start up a new ministry. Minister Mercier has joined a minister, and I apologize, I don't know what the minister's title is. But his thing was to get boots on the ground. Go around to communities, go check out the mills, community forest, get out there. He is one of the reasons that they are looking at expediting the burnt logs removal. So there's already contracts that have been signed to remove certain areas of those burnt woods, not around the community of Tumbler Ridge at this point, but I would think that's probably already, that is probably already in the process. But that minister's job is just get the boots on the ground to find out what they need, what we can help with the forestry. So hopefully we'll see some things move forward in regards to forestry and not having mills shut down because they don't have the fiber and such. That was a big conversation at Kofi. Councillor Noxana mentioned it was busy. I did attend the Prince George one for my first time ever. I went to Vancouver this time. I would say it's probably double, if not triple, of Prince George. So it was very busy. I mean, some of the stuff was too loud, but it was busy. We met with BC Wildfire Service representatives at Kofi, and we had the conversation in regards to what BC Wildfire Service is doing in regards to some of the controlled burns are doing around like Williams Lake, some of the First Nation bands, partnering with local fire departments and First Nations to do these burns, and I think that's why I put it forward. I think we need to have that discussion. Maybe, I'm not the expertise in it. Don't get me wrong, we probably have some expertise on stuff, but to me, I think it gives us a chance to hear from them, and to me, we're doing something that we've been asked for by the residents, and maybe it can't happen, and that's fine. One thing we definitely had a conversation with BC Wildfire Services, and maybe I didn't realize it, and I probably did, but to me, we had a good conversation. I've hammered BC Wildfire Service quite a bit, whether it's in local media, radio stations, or the news. And I said it to the two young ladies that were at their booth, that it's actually not BC Wildfire Services I'm hammering, it's actually the Ministry of Forest and the BC government. So they understood that, so I apologize for maybe some comments I might have made on a news channel that, I was hammering BC Wildfire Service. But I said, really and truly, I'm going to your bosses, and that's the ministry. So we had quite the dialogue and talked about things that have happened in this community. And when we had fires previously at 10 Creek and stuff, and how they had the helitack crew come in and parachute into the community, and that appreciation. Councillor Noxana mentioned about, what other things can we do, like, hopefully we get rain and we don't have to worry about this. But, it's the writing the cards, sending the cards out to the camps. And, and I mean, we have pretty good contact from our fire chief. And I'm not saying that when it's initially happening that we go and drop a box of cards off at the fire hall for the fire chief who's in the EOC to go deliver. But I think we missed an opportunity there, and understandable that they didn't just fight this fire here at the West Cascatna fire. They went from there to another fire right away. So we didn't have that opportunity. So it's just something I think as fire season winds down in the winter, I'm not saying it 100% did, but that may be our opportunity to give direction to staff to invite some of these fire members back, whether it's Darren, in which he did come to our Let's Talk, and we had great open dialogue with our residents, but just to thank them. I mentioned that PRD was also at Kofi. I even mentioned at our PRD party that maybe we should be inviting some of our local forestry personnel to our Christmas party, the PRD, as they support the region. So I think there'll be some conversations had there. Councillor Noxana did ask if Forest Towers was actually his true name. The young lady that was there, 100% could confirm that is definitely his name. So she was up here as well in our fire. I forget her name, I apologize, but she has now been trained to take on some of these roles. So she'll be out, and we'll see her probably more often, and hopefully we don't see her, but we may. I mentioned early in the delegation I did have a meeting with Ms. Torval with CONUMA Resources. We got the same news, so I'm glad that staff was able to fit them into a delegation. So to me, I want to thank staff for that. I understand that some things have to be certain dates and timestamps, but we knew that this was a fairly important dialogue, and I thought that, to my opinion, council needed to be aware, not just an update at councillor's business, but to hear the delegation and realize that we need to get some letter of support, if we support it, to try and help this early works permit, which could be you heard it in the delegation, they're May 1st, and it doesn't look like it's going to be that date. That could affect operations from their side, is what I've heard. So we should just do our best if we can, and that's what I'll be doing at Victoria. All right, any other things from council? Question and answer period. Mr. Doyle, any questions come in? No, there aren't any. Sorry, I didn't get your button on in time. All right, I'll take adjournment. Councillor Noxana.
That the April 15th, 2024 regular council meeting be adjourned.
Seconder, Councillor Dussault. All in favor? Carried.